Well, good afternoon and welcome once again to Ed's Orchids. Now, I thought I'd just do a quick end of April update today. So we'll just start watering a few, which I have to do, especially the Phragmipediums, which aren't on the drip system. You can see loads of them dripping there, but I've got about a dozen. They're not on the drip system yet, so I'll water them by hand. And we'll do an update on virtually everything else. I think we might start off with this Nobile that I showed you the other week. You know, the growths are coming up very nicely. There they are, there's one coming up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 new growths on it, they're coming up lovely. So I'm just going to feed them with this RO water, and it's got 147 parts per million of calcium nitrate, and another 47 parts per million of Epsom salts. So that should do them fine. So I'll just water this one, and then we'll have a look at the others. Well, as far as buds and sheaths go on the Cattleyas, I have none. They haven't started yet. So I think what I've got are the ones that start growing at this time of year, but they don't flower till the autumn or the beginning of winter. That's what I think I've got here. Well, I may be wrong, but that's just my guess. Well, we'll just go across this top row and have a look. There's a Paphiopedilum angel hair there, Cattleyas there, there's Prince Edward of York. This is the No ID Odontoglossum. That's still in bloom. This one is another Cattleya, Almaquis Chimpali, that's not doing much. And behind that is a Gulf Green. I'm hoping these will come on shortly, because they make beautiful plants and flowers when they do start coming on. Then we've got the Paphiopedilums along here. They're doing very nicely, they're growing nicely, putting up new leaves and putting up spikes. At the back of that we've got a few small Paphiopedilums, some more small Phalaenopsis there. It's easier pulling them down and holding them. This is the Macrellanara, and this is just starting to put up a new growth right down at the bottom there. So this one's watering, so this will get the same as I've just given that Nobile. This is the Bialara, Campbell's Glacier, and this is putting up a nice new growth. Going very well. There we are. This isn't showing much yet, it's not showing any new growth, but it's showing 1 or 2 new roots coming out there. And it's Brassavola Orange Charm crossed by Oncidium Megaglossum. So I'm quite happy with that one, and they'll all be better now when I've given them some of this calcium and Epsom salts. So I'll water those 3, and then we'll carry on having a look at the others. Well, we've got the 2 little ones here that are mounted. They're only tiny. This Paphiopedilum Loei, and it's put that new leaf up this year up to now, and it's just starting to put in another new leaf up there. So that's a good sign. So that goes and wants watering, so we'll just drop it in there. And this one is the Masdevallia Gutierrezii, and this is growing nicely. Plenty of new growth coming out. You can see how much is sticking out at the front there now. It seems to grow outwards now instead of along the sideways, but nice new roots on it. and that will go in there. That will go in there for 5 or 10 minutes. Well, I'm sorry, but we interrupt this video for the amount of bloopers that have been made. Now, if you remember earlier, I went along here calling all these Paphiopedilums when they are Phalaenopsis. And then I showed you a small one on a mount that I said was Paphiopedilum lowii, and it was Phalaenopsis lowii. So I do apologise, but I'm sure you spotted it. Anyhow, I think, as an idea, I might drop a blooper in some of my videos and see if they get spotted. You think that's a good idea or not? And while those two are soaking, I'll water the Arangus. This is little Mr. Cedar. I'm saying little because they don't get too big. Well, they don't get big at all. This one flowered with some beautiful flowers on, but only about half a dozen last year. So I'm hoping for more this year. There's one thing about Arangus that I hope they grow with better leaves. I don't think I've ever seen one with nice leaves on yet. This is another Mr. Cedar. I think this one had 8 or 9 spikes on it last year, but then it threw 3 of them off. And this is grown really out from the pot now. That's a new growth. It was out here that died off, so I chopped it off there, and there's all these new growths on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 new growths there on the side. So whether that's going to keep going or not, I don't know. Whether it's going to outgrow its strength, which they do sometimes. And this is a Noid Arangus, and we don't know what it is really until it flowers. Never flowered yet. Plenty of nice good root system on it. Give it a nice wetting under the leaves, because these Arangus, they live in the wild and they're always hanging over water. So we'll give this a good water. And a lot of these new roots, they don't turn green when you water them. You know, does that mean they're not working properly yet, or will they never work? 1, 2, 3. And right at the end, after the Phalaenopsis, we've got the 2 large Paphiopedilums, Lady Isabel, and then further on there's a Goldiana at the back there, and then there's just a couple of cacti. Now here's a plant that's really been struggling, and it's Renanthera philippinense, and I had to chop it in 2 because all the bottom leaves were dropping off, and the roots below it weren't very good, but I think it had 1 root coming out towards the bottom, so I decided to plant it up. And although all these leaves have gone purplish, they can be caused by lack of light. It can be caused by a lack of photosynthesis, caused by the roots not being abundant enough to supply water to the leaves. But I've been watering this quite heavily recently, and the new growths there are nice and green. And another reason it could be a lack of fertiliser. So if you start showing this colour on your plants, just give it a little bit more fertiliser and it should help. That's Renanthera philippinense. I'll keep an eye on that one. Here's the other Renanthera I've got, or is it Renanthera, something like that. And this has flowered many times. You can see there, and this has been chopped down to half its original size, for the same reason as the other plant, all the bottom leaves dropping off and looking terrible. But this is doing okay, and this started growing off here somehow by putting these silly lines over there like they've been bent. But pleased to say that there's one new leaf coming up which is unmarked, so that could be alright. That's a Rhodantha, this hybrid known as Tom Thumb. I'll just have to move this Angraecum leaf out of the way to show you this Angraecum veitchii, and I'm pleased to say this, well, I'm not pleased to say, this is another I had to chop into and lost the bottom half of it. And this is the top half, and suddenly it's now starting to grow a new leaf, as you see there. And I think I checked it about 3 weeks ago, and the roots were very good. So that's going to do okay. And next to it we have this large Angraecum sesquipedale, and I've had this quite a long time, and it flowered last year, and it's putting up a new growth there, new leaf growth there, and as it puts one up there, it throws one off at the bottom here. And I always like to check these to see if there's any mealybug in there, because if you see your bottom leaves going yellow, there might be some mealybug in there. Well, there's none in there because I know I spray it every week. It looks like there's been some in, but it's dead now anyhow. But that's the Angraecum sesquipedale. And this is the Phragmipedium richterii, and this one has never stopped flowering for 12 months. It had 2 spikes on, flowered for months and months and months, so I cut the spikes off, and lo and behold it's sent up 2 new spikes here, one there and one there, and it's getting ready to bloom again. Phragmipedium richterii, nice big plant. This is the Phragmipedium cardinale putting its last 2 blooms up, and they're much smaller than the blooms it put up earlier, much smaller, but still a nice colour, and I think it's putting up some new growths down here. Yeah, there's a couple right down there. There's one especially good, the other I don't know. But it's always a good sign when you see new growth like that. Well, that's about all for today. I've been along this side of the greenhouse, might go along the other side of the greenhouse tomorrow, so nothing else remains but for me to say thank you very much for watching. Thanks to all my subscribers, and until I do see you next time, bye.